Good evening and welcome everyone. Bienvenue et merci pour votre participation ce soir au deuxième Bicycle Ball ici à Ottawa. And of course, this year the Bicycle Ball is right across the country and potentially everywhere in the world. My name is Sharon Coward, and I am the Executive Director of EnviroCentre. For those of you who don't know us, EnviroCentre is a nonprofit environmental organization located right here in Ottawa. Our core mission supports sustainable lifestyle, and that means that we encourage people to take action on climate in their own lives, in their homes, in their workplaces, in their businesses, in their communities, and right here in our city. And we do that by pointing people toward practical steps they can take to reduce their environmental impact in lasting ways. You're going to see little tidbits pop up on the screen throughout this evening highlighting some of the things that we do. But at a high level, our work supports green homes, green transportation, green business, and green lifestyle. Now, this isn't quite the bicycle ball we imagined. A few things have changed since our original planning, but a number of things haven't. The urgency for climate action has not changed. The commitment of ordinary people around the world and here in our city to protect the health of our world and build better, healthier communities has not changed. So tonight, we have 4 big goals. The first is to raise awareness around practical climate action, the things real folks can do in their real lives. The second is to celebrate climate action that is already happening right here in Ottawa and right across Canada. The third is we want to have a truly awesome low-carbon event. Our current health crisis forced us to be creative, to see how we can pull off an interesting, engaging, and fun event under changed circumstances. But the truth is that's not too far off what we do every day addressing climate action. We ask ourselves, how do we pull off interesting, creative, fun, and good under changed circumstances? So we've taken it on. And this format for this evening has allowed us to pull in folks from farther afield for this year's event with a small or zero carbon footprint. So we're very happy about that. And number 4, we want to raise funds for climate action. The proceeds from this event will help EnviroCentre continue our work and grow our work in the community, supporting climate action and pointing people toward good, practical ways to build better, more resilient, more sustainable homes, approaches to life, and communities. We do need your help to do that, so thank you for your support. Thank you for staying in at home with us this evening, and we're looking forward to a wonderful time.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to start by saying that I feel frustration, angst, and fear when I see people idling their cars, littering our streets, wasting energy, neglecting our natural spaces, or letting their water run too long. These might be the same feelings of anxiety, angst, and frustration that many others are feeling right now when they don't see people wearing a mask, physical distancing, or practicing proper hygiene or gathering in large groups. I feel both right now, every day, because the reality is we face both an environmental and a health crisis at the same time. And they can both only be solved with the collective action of you and me and all of us working together in harmony. For those that say the climate crisis relies on political will, governments, and corporations to take action are not wrong. They're absolutely correct. This health crisis has showcased how well corporations and governments are working together. The arrows in our grocery stores, the Costco's of the world enforcing us to wear our masks, and strong, coordinated messages from our government officials to stay home. But as you can see, without people who feel obligated to do their part, people who feel that they have a moral responsibility to take action for the greater good, then these things cannot work. Governments and corporations need our help. They need us to listen, to follow their advice and leadership. They need us not to host large group parties like they did in downtown Toronto last weekend. They need us to act to build a more sustainable planet. It's the same responsibility that we have for future generations that we have right now to protect our loved grandparents from COVID-19. We must work together and we must take action together. After all, governments and corporations are groups of people like you, like me, and we all have a part to play to protect our shared home. Climate change and COVID-19 aren't so different. They require us at the local, national, and global level to work together to fight for the greater good, to sacrifice now to save lives, and to create a healthier world for all of us. I hope this is a reminder to everyone that we all have a part to play to protect our planet. You, me, governments, and corporations working together. And that it's a constant reminder that what will happen if governments and corporations don't take action against COVID-19 seriously. We'll face a similar fate that we will for our planet too. The changes we make together really do make a big difference. And with that said, I would like to introduce you to the concept of random acts of green here today. And I'm going to share my screen, and I hope that you're able to see it here. Let me know if there are any problems. I'm going to start from the beginning here. Okay, so as I said, I'd like to introduce the concept of random acts of green to help accomplish some of these things and complement as well as enhance the great, incredible work that the EnviroCentre, of course, is doing. And I'm sure that these things run parallel in many ways. I'd like to start by telling you how this all got started for those that aren't familiar with me or the story behind it. But really it began back when I was a child. I would constantly see my parents and my sisters leave on the lights, whether it was a laundry room light, a garage light, or a bathroom light. it would really frustrate me even as a young child, and so much so that I had my own informal sense of protesting where I would sit there like this and pout until all the lights were turned off in our home. And that's really where things got started. It started at a very young age for me. And as I grew up, I kept hearing these constant phrases that I'm sure many of you here today are familiar with. The first is, I'm just one person. It's hopeless. It's too late. And I've heard some others like, I'll be dead before the problem matters, and there's just no point to take action. These things frustrated me all the way through university and my master's, and they made me realize I really wanted to create something that was positive. And so I set out to create Random Acts of Green. And Random Acts of Green is a fully Canadian, women-led social enterprise that really brings businesses and people together in an online community that empowers collective climate action. And we use social media to do this in lots of ways. So we have a Facebook, an app, as well as a website that brings business and people together in this positive way. And again, empowers collective climate action. And our promises have been positive, inclusive, and really to inspire others, and of course not to judge other people. We find that sometimes there's a doom and gloom messaging that tends to exist, and we really like to inspire people not to judge them for things that they aren't doing, but rather celebrate for what they are doing. And I'd like to actually share with you today the Random Acts of Green community, and to provide you with a more deeper understanding of what this is all about. And this is more about a feeling of belonging, being part of a tribe and inclusion, and to provide the opportunity for people to crowdsource unique and innovative and creative ideas all online. I'll start with the first one. This was submitted to us from Saskatchewan. This was a pizza made from leftover food in the fridge that, quote unquote, must go. And this individual rescued old veggies like mushrooms, zucchinis, and peppers from his crisper and decided to put them on his pizza there to rescue that food from going to waste, which was really, really important. This here is Gwen. She is 4 years old. She's one of our ambassadors, and she collects and cleans used mascara wands to help wildlife get clean from oil spills. And one of our Green Act business member, Lake Cosmetics, actually helps facilitate this. So she's 4 years old, and she's a great ambassador that is taking action with her mom. This here on the opposite spectrum, age 70, is Claudia from the Grandma's Going Green. She's a huge fan of Random Acts of Green, and she collects and recycles old dryer markers and writing utensils and sets up neighborhood collection bins to ensure that they are recycled properly by separating the ink and the plastics from each other. This here is Kristen, age 30, located in where we're headquartered in Peterborough. She hosts clothing swaps with friends to help reduce fast fashion. So it's a lot of fun. You can see back when we were all able to gather, she has cheese and wine, and she's having a lot of fun there with her friends. We do have ambassadors from all walks of life. This is a four-legged friend of ours. He picks up litter on his walks as part of the Pause for Plastic initiative, and he's 7 years old. So that was a really great one to see their animals taking part in Random Acts of Green. This is a 6-month a little guy here. Mom and Dad bought cloth diapers, and our Green Act business member, Bumbini Cloth Diapers, actually offers these. So it's great to see that. Cloth diapers really help us reduce waste. This one has taken place. I'm sure many of you are familiar. This was something we were really promoting, was No Mow May. And it was great to see many people letting their weeds grow very, very high, and letting the pollinators actually have that chance to get a nice meal. So it's great to see individuals actually taking a stance and participating in this. This here is Glenn. He refuses styrofoam takeout containers at outdoor festivals. You can see he has a china plate there instead of a styrofoam container. Back, of course, when we were allowed to gather. Great Green Act there. This is Mr. Healthy Sweet Potato from, I like to say, from Calgary, raising awareness that ugly food is still edible to help reduce food waste. This is my mom. She uses old towels as new mop heads, and she's one of Random Acts of Green's biggest fans. And this here is Orlana Hardcastle. She provides, she gives away seedlings to her community for free to allow people to actually grow their own seeds. So it's been great to have her give away those seeds as an act of kindness. And this is last but not least, one of the last ones I'll share today, although there are so many I could share with you. This is a visible mending project where an individual is actually she's mended the chairs there for the summer months to actually repair this chair. So it's great to see that. So why am I sharing all of these random acts of green with you today? Well, the purpose, I really felt we were making a big difference with what we were accomplishing, but we couldn't actually track, measure, or quantify the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that were being reduced by these great actions. And so we decided, in partnership with the Ontario government as well as Canada's Climate Action Fund last year, to build a mobile application that would actually help people see the impact that they were having by these green actions. And so to date, we have been working on this. I'll describe to you now what the app is and what it does. You can actually log green acts, and with those green acts, you'll be able to earn green points. And green points can then be redeemed for real-world discounts on products and services. And so the more green points you earn, the more greenhouse gas emissions you help to reduce. You can then redeem them for rewards from partners that we work with, for you or for other people in your community. Here are some examples of the app. Cold water laundry, you can log installing a rain barrel, air drying your clothing, reducing the amount of meat that you consume, planting a tree, and of course, my personal favorite, turning off those lights when you're not in the room. Here's a little bit more about what the app looks like. You can actually see what others are doing to help alleviate some of those feelings that you're the only person. Then, of course, you can compete for a spot there on our leaderboard if you're competitive in nature, which we know many people are. We also couple this with our green challenges. So we host one called Hallow Green, slaughter the amount of kilometers you drive by carpooling, or bring an item back from the dead. And you can see here below, we also have one for Christmas. Baby, it's cold outside, need a hot chocolate, remember your travel mug. So these are all things you can log there on the app too as well. And now I'd like to just touch on some of the components of our programs. We do work with individual and businesses that are a member of Random Acts of Green. And the core value proposition of this is to actually align a business or an individual's personal or organizational values with collective climate action, that they want to be a part of this movement and a part of this collaborative environment where they can all work together and they can actually string these things together and really understand that there's a common thread that's weaved through these positive actions, and that they can be inspired by others, and of course learn more you can do. And here's a little bit more. Becoming a member includes just being a part of the community, and that there's no limit of what we can accomplish together, and that together we really can make that impact. We do have a global community and growing, so we are based in Canada, of course, but we have seen an uptake in other areas around the world, and all these little blue dots here in Germany and Spain and Italy and Australia. Because we're an online company, we've actually been able to infiltrate into other regions, and so it's been very interesting to see that happen, and we'd love to see where it can go in that connection to the global community. I'd like to say that, I've given this presentation many times. Last year, thanks to Canada's Climate Action Fund, we were able to take it across Canada. And so we were in Charlottetown, PEI, Nova Scotia, Saskatoon, Alberta, Red Deer, British Columbia, and it's been a great opportunity to help spread these messages and this positive energy of being a climate action facilitator in many ways. And so I have actually encouraged many people to take this challenge, and I'm going to challenge the audience here today to do the same. I'd like to challenge everyone to actually log a green act together, and perhaps you're having a meal today and it's a vegetarian or a vegan meal, and you can actually log that action. Perhaps it's you rode your bike today, you composted, you recycled, any of these things. I'd encourage you to download it and log it so you can actually feel that sense of everyone making an impact or change, something positive together, and that you're all connected to all the other things that I've discussed here today. And I think that it's a very powerful activity, and I'd encourage everyone to do it. It's a little bit more challenging on a webinar, but I hope that you do have the opportunity to do that, and that then you can see the impact that you're having together as a global and local community that layers there of change. And so I was asked to add a vision of what I really feel, post COVID-19, what we see as for the future, what I feel. And I feel everyone should feel empowered to do their part for the planet, whether it's big or small. And that really goes into what I kind of led this talk in today, was to really draw some synergies between COVID-19 and climate change, so that we really can feel that sense of empowerment, and that people understand that everybody has a part to play, no matter the color of their skin, their income, or where they live, and or how much money they make. It really doesn't matter. We all have a part to play. And with that said, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much to the EnviroCentre for putting on this event. I think it's very, very valuable, and I'm very humbled to be speaking here today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I hope everybody had themselves a lovely day and managed to stay somewhat cool. This very interesting, drastic changes in weather seem to be alluding to some sort of environmental issue. Interesting. My name is Kimberly Sundstrom. I'm a local Ottawa-based singer-songwriter. I'm really grateful to be here and be part of this wonderful event in its virtual form. I'm sure that I will have a chance to see it in its in real life form next year, because it's such a wonderful event. And Jessica, I loved that that app. I was trying to download it before I started, but I should probably try to do one thing at a time. And I have to take my dog for a walk later on, so I'm going to try and encourage her to pick up some trash. Does that count as like my contribution as well? I hope so. Thanks. So yeah, I'm going to sing a few tunes for you folks, and if you feel like humming along or singing along, go right ahead. This song is called Back of My Head, but feeling frustrated. I've been driving down a windy road, much long and far too slow. I pressed the middle to the floor. I hit the window out the door. I'm done with driving in the lines. It's time to go, go, go. You said you'd help me out, but instead you said you'd sort it out once again. I don't know, I don't care. Just so tired, not being there. It's all about the right place, right time. Everybody get in line. It's a skill post win with a brick in mind. So stop the clocks, here I am. Here I am. Yeah, oh yeah. And the reason why I decided to sing this song, it's called Back of My Head, Windy Road, is because I do a lot of gigging, and when I do gigs, I usually drive to my gig in my car, and I don't feel great about it, to be honest. And so, I thought to myself at some point, I have a bike, I live in the downtown area, and I got myself one of those trailers that you see parents with their kids in, and I decided that I was gonna start biking with all of my gear to my gigs, and I was really excited about the prospect of doing this. And then COVID decided to appear, so I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but I'm really excited to do that when that's all kicks in. I promise. And I'm going to be tracking it on my app. It's going to be great. I'm going to make it through the night tonight. I've got to work it out somehow. I throw the shift down the line I thrashed the clutch just in time. I'm done with driving in the lines. It's time to go, go, go. You said you'd help me out, but instead you said you'd sort it out once again. I don't know, I don't care. Just so tired, not being there. It's all about the right place, right time. Everybody get in line. It's a Gilboa's win for Rick and nine. So stop the clocks, here I am. Here I am. Yeah, oh yeah. Alright, here I am. All right, yeah. This wonderful humidity really messes with my poor little guitar. So the next song I'm going to sing is called The Lullaby. And I wrote this song when I had the absolute pleasure of meeting my nephew for the first time when he emerged into this world 5 years ago. I was there when my sister gave birth to him. Home birth, might I just add. Shout out to my sister and anybody else who has gone that route. And speaking, Jessica was speaking about cloth nappies, and she, leading up to the birth of this beautiful, beautiful, wonderful child, she sat at home and sewed and made cloth nappies, cloth diapers for my nephew, and used them throughout his diaper wearing days. So I feel like I'm going to add that to my app as well somehow. So yeah, it's called The Lullaby, and I hope you like it. Dragon spits a fire and a night saves a girl. You don't have to question the hero anymore. Fairy tales, it's easy to know the good from the bad. Living in the real world is so much harder than that. I believe in miracles, and I see it when I look in your eyes. 'Cause the touch of your hand sends a shiver down my spine, and the way that you look into my eyes is me paralyzed. I believe in miracles. A flying man from a tin can shoots fire beams in a blink. A dark past that's overcast, complemented by a shrink. Perfect crime needs an evil eye and a shadow of the wall. With a flick of the wrist, the villain's caught in a pinch, and that's a perfect result. I believe in miracles, and I see it when I look in your eye. 'Cause the touch of your hand sends a shiver down my spine, and the way that you look into my eyes, me paralyzed. I believe in miracles. There's always a moment when you're holding your breath. Situation looks grim at best, so hopeless, and there's nobody left to save us from ourselves. I believe. I believe. I believe miracles, and I see it when I look into your eyes. 'Cause the touch of your hand sends a shiver down my spine, and the way that you look into my eyes is me paralyzed. I believe in miracles. in miracles, miracles. All right, so that song was called The Lullaby, like I said. And yeah, shout out to anybody, any parents out there. Thank you so much. I see your claps. I appreciate that. Shout out to any parents right now who are, I'm sure, doing as much as you possibly can to keep the kids entertained and educated. And you've taken on 7 other jobs that maybe you didn't necessarily intend on, but I just want to give a shout out to that. I only have a fur baby, and she's elated by this. She gets all my attention. So the last song that I'm going to sing, and again, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful event. I'm so glad to be involved in it, and I think it's so important. And I try my hardest to do my best in terms of leaving small footprints. I mean, fortunately, I'm short and small, so that goes without saying. But leaving small environmental footprints on this planet that we have only one of. So yeah, I think that's really important and relevant as well. This last song that I'm going to sing is called Confessions. And by the way, all of my music can be found on Spotify, iTunes, all the streaming platforms. If you're curious to hear more. So this song is called Confessions, and it's a song that I wrote from the perspective of my dad, who's from Canada, meeting my mom, who's from Botswana, falling in love and starting their life together. And the reason why I really wanted to sing it tonight for this event is when we were living in Botswana, which is predominantly where I grew up. My mom, and I don't know if a lot of people know where Botswana is. It's a very small landlocked country and quite at the bottom of Africa, right on top of South Africa. And while there, my mom started working for a company called, it's a mouthful, but Somarlang Tikoloko, which basically translates to Environment Watch Botswana. And she started the initiative of the first recycling project in Botswana. So they started with bottles and kind of like progressed very slowly, but surely and decisively from there. And it was a long project that she had been working on, but it built up steam, it built up trajectory. Now there's actually recycling happening even now in Botswana. And she was also she started the initiative of reusable bags when you go grocery shopping. And this was in 1999, 2000 to 2001. So really, really, I personally think she was such a cutting edge, forward thinking woman. So I think she would have been a wonderful. Unfortunately, she passed away, but she would have been a wonderful speaker. She was extremely fun and funny, and very passionate about the environment. So I'm glad to be, again, another reason why I'm glad to be performing here tonight. So I'm going to sing this song. It's called Confessions, and there is definitely a sing along part. If you feel it in your heart to sing along, just go for it. Nobody's going to judge you here. That's the joys of muting your microphones on Zoom calls. And I hope you like it. I must confess to you, like a young man should. I knew the day we met that my heart beat good enough to win your love. Never stood a chance. So I wrapped up all my love, waited for you to come back. When you come back to me, oh. When you come back to me, oh. That's the sing-along part, in case you're wondering. I must confess you, like a little child. She came along one day, made us so proud. We never planned on it, but our love was true. So I made a pact that day to make our one love two. When you come back to me, oh. 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 And another confession's coming out of me. Just like the last one, another girl makes 3. We both agree to make our family grow. Like that our house went from 3 to 4. When you come back to me, oh. 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 So I'll hold you close, kiss your cheeks at night, keep you warm, squeeze you oh so tight, lock the cold outside the door, hold you up and be the man you like. All right, if you feel like singing along, help me out. Here we go. It's coming back. When you come back to me is what I'm saying. Here we go. When you come back to me, oh yeah. When you come back to me, oh. When you come back to me, oh. When you come back to me, oh. When you come back to me. I see you sing along. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much. My name is Kimberly Sundstrom. I hope so very much that I get to see you soon and the world opens up again, and we can do things together just like this and talk about these wonderful issues face to face. Well, like real face to real face. Again, my name is Kimberly Sundstrom. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the rest of these beautiful speeches that are coming up. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, so growing more food is really like a design challenge. In we design our lives every day by the choices we make. And it really would be a great experiment to see how much we can produce and consume locally. It's entirely possible to grow a pound per square foot. And if we grew a pound per square foot in Ottawa, we would need 40,000 acres to produce 50% of our food. And that's about 3% of our land. So only 3% of our land providing 50% of our food and nutrient requirements. There's so many places to grow. Imagine a garden in every school. Imagine gardens on balconies, front yards, backyards, parks, schools, NCC land, community housing, everywhere. Imagine new victory gardens. I think some people are calling them COVID gardens this year. Imagine seed libraries in every library. Imagine tool libraries in every community. Imagine a teaching farm school at the Central Experimental Farm that grows food for the new civic hospital patients. Imagine a thriving local economy based on healthy food resulting in a resilient, integrated, and supportive community. Imagine the creation of an agriculture and food department at Ottawa City Hall. We can all take responsibility and do a part. Hundreds of thousands of people will be involved. And I do have another little set of rhymes here. Imagine for a moment a garden and a bake oven in every school, teaching our kids to make bread, to grow vegetables and herbs, and to use tools. At each school, a mentor gardener, a teacher, a mentor, and a partner. Turning lawns into food for all to feed certainly can be seen as a valiant deed. So consider the school down your street and how it can be used to grow good food to eat. Contact the teacher and administrator. Take action, get involved, make things better. Soil, community garden, permaculture, and pollination. So much knowledge, food, and inspiration. With bodies, minds, souls sated, we await the next growing season, breath abated. For now we look in awe upon the snow. I wrote this in winter, and hear the howling winds blow. With dreams of plants we will nurture and the seeds we will sow, the fruits of our labors will once again grow. With sun, soil, seed, water, and lofty aspirations, we make the future brighter for next generations. A vision for our neighborhood organizations. More community, more sharing, more community collaboration. Imagine Ottawa Valley growing 50% of our food locally, organically by 2050. Let's build a hope and a plan for food security. Plant a seed, nurture, water, and weed. Ottawa, take the lead for our communities to better feed. So many benefits will accrue. To decide is all we need to do. Spending time with you has been swell. May you and your gardens fare well. And what will you do to relocalize and rehumanize our food systems? Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful summer.
Hi, everyone. I've got a little presentation ready for you, so I'll share my screen now. Can everyone hear me and see this all right, I hope? All right.
Yep.
Thank you. So hi, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Jake Miller from Project Neutral, and we're a charity built around a household carbon footprint calculator. Our mission is to help people quantify the GHG emissions they have personal control over and to support them to take the actions necessary to transition to a low carbon lifestyle. I want to begin with two really important statistics. First off, 81% of Canadians believe that climate change represents a major threat to the future of our children and our grandchildren. Second, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has projected that we have only 10 years to prevent catastrophic global warming. In their definition, that's capping warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius over pre-industrial levels. In order to achieve that, we need to make a 45% reduction in carbon dioxide emissions from 2010 levels. Together, these stats tell us something important as Canadians, that there's a major consensus that this is an oncoming disaster, and also that the smartest climate scientists in the world have given us a target to prevent it. This graph in red shows a scenario where we took climate change seriously. In this scenario, Canada took leadership on the issue and made the steady, responsible reductions necessary to drop emissions down over 20 years. And this has been our current performance, using the most recent national data. Halfway through and a clear upward trend. By delaying, we've made the work for ourselves twice as difficult. This is a sobering graph for every Canadian. You've likely seen graphs like this, heard interviews, read articles, or witnessed mass protests that ask the obvious question. In the face of such a crisis, why is so little happening? I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault. And I certainly don't mean that in the defeatist way. We so often excuse ourselves of responsibility, saying, what difference does one person or one household make? That's nonsense. Your actions matter far more than you might realize. What I'm saying instead is that it's not your fault because this is an unusually difficult issue to address. And there's a few reasons why this is the case. First off, carbon dioxide is invisible. Most of the carbon emissions we are responsible for are pumped into the atmosphere far away from us, from refineries, electrical plants, and factories. That already hides a lot of our emissions from us. But even the direct emissions from our furnaces or from the exhaust pipes of our vehicles are in the form of carbon dioxide, which is itself an invisible gas. This simple fact that carbon dioxide is colorless, odorless, has dramatic implications. My family and I produce approximately 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide every month. And that's really quite low for a Canadian home. But let's imagine a different world, one where instead of the invisible carbon dioxide gas, I had to deal with that carbon as a big, solid hunk of black graphite. Well, that graphite would be a 600-pound block, twice my size, every single month. That's 20 pounds a day. I want you to imagine if you had a 20-pound block of graphite sitting on your lap right now. Imagine you had to haul that block over to the curb or toss it down the garbage chute every day. Or better yet, imagine if an equivalent weight of dark, sooty graphite dust trickled out of every light switch that was turned on, poured out of every furnace like a smokestack, pumped out of every vehicle on the street, covered every single item at the grocery store, or was dumped upon us in huge black clouds from airplanes. Now, if we lived in a world like that, how long do you think it would take us to cut our emissions? If carbon dioxide was visible, we would have never gotten to this point. The next issue is that a new toolkit of sustainable actions is needed. So often, well-intentioned articles paint a picture of global devastation and finish with suggested actions that are meant to seem approachable, but they're simply not going to save us. Let's say you're planning a trip to London, and you've heard that flights produce a lot of emissions. So you can be proactive. There's a desk lamp that you use, and you go and switch the old, wasteful, incandescent bulb for a brand new LED bulb. Well, you would need to do that for 210 lamps this year alone to offset that one flight to London. Unless you're secretly swapping your neighbor's bulb, that's not a feasible trade-off. And I guarantee that everyone in this audience is willing to go out of their way to help the planet. You'd likely cross the street to put a plastic water bottle into a recycling bin rather than throw it in the trash. That's important for many reasons. But from the perspective of climate change, by the time you're recycling something, the vast majority of the damage is done. In the meantime, the average Canadian is constantly throwing away a plastic bottle of carbon into the atmosphere every single minute. Some of these images I've asked you to imagine are likely a bit shocking, and that's because quantifying carbon emissions is really difficult. Not only that, calculating your carbon footprint is really challenging. Emission factors vary widely depending on the region you live in, the electrical grid you draw power from, whether you're a city dweller or live in a rural area. And there's always the tricky question of how far down the chain to account for. Businesses pay top dollar to consultants to do carbon inventory. People get their PhDs in this. Tackling all of this alone is just too much for a regular person. And that's why, for the past 10 years, Project Neutral has been on a mission to make this easier. We started small, with neighbors sitting down in their backyards to share utility bills. Then we built a website to support this neighborhood work. And that's when we had an epiphany. We needed to shift our focus online and build a simple, easy-to-use calculator so that a critical mass of people could finally see all the carbon being produced around them. Our carbon footprint calculator asks you easy-to-answer questions. Using those answers, we calculate your household's carbon footprint. Then we give you those results and let you see how you compare to similar households. We also give you your results broken down into major lifestyle categories and have additional deep dive modules to let you get an even more accurate calculation in each of them. In the 2 years since we launched our quick and easy calculator, uptake has soared. More and more people have been measuring their impact, and now over 13,000 people live in project neutral households. Together, we've measured almost 90,000 tons of carbon dioxide. Put another way, that's over 2 billion plastic bottles of carbon that Canadians can see for the first time. That's a lot. But it's not enough, not nearly enough. When faced with our current reality, it's clear that the vast majority of households have no idea what their carbon footprint is. It's clear that the vast majority of emissions are not being accounted for. And it's clear that for the vast majority of Canadians, their carbon emissions are still invisible. But they aren't for you. Earlier I said that the present state of the climate crisis is not your fault. And now I've gone and given you a presentation that took away all your best excuses. Sorry about that. But I do hope that this will change the way you think, the way you act, and how you feel. I want to reiterate, it's still not your fault. But knowing what you know now, it's your responsibility to become part of the solution. And Project Neutral wants to help you. We're on a mission to make this carbon visible. So far, we've reached 13,000 Canadians, but we need to be aiming for 13 million. We're working to hit this target and to help Canadians become the climate leaders we know we can be. But we need to go faster, faster than we've ever gone before. Our efforts are directed at reaching people through school programs, through employee engagement campaigns, through community groups, through great organizations like EnviroCentre, and through talks like this one. And I hope you'll join us on this journey. We're a small charity, and we're always looking for support. Our mission is a big one, and we're always looking for people who will share it. And our impact happens one person, one home at a time. So above all, I encourage you to start. Start your own journey to a low carbon future. The best first step is finding out the footprint. That's everything I want to say tonight, except for one thing. EnviroCentre has given all of us speakers a wonderful prompt to describe our vision for a greener, more sustainable city. My vision is one where everyone knows that their actions matter, and where doing the right thing is obvious. I want to see cities where in the myriad of choices we make each day, the sustainable option is the default option, where community groups build initiatives that carry hundreds of families into sustainable lifestyles, where governments fund green infrastructure and legislate sustainable practices, and where businesses thrive by recognizing that people and planet are our most important resources. I want to see cities with more EnviroCentre and more people like you. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Coulter, and you've reached me on the unceded territories of the Coast Salish First Nations, territories of the Lekwungen and the Wasanich speaking people. So I'm in Victoria, BC, and I wanted to speak to you a little bit today about a topic I've been really passionate about around rewilding. So for about 14 years, I've been working as the Queen of Green at the David Suzuki Foundation. We have offices in Vancouver and Toronto and in Montreal. And you can find more about Queen of Green at queenofgreen.ca. But rewilding, I'm going to share 5 tips with you tonight that you can unplug after perhaps a little Zoom fatigue tonight, and even start something right now as soon as you hang up from the call tonight, or wake up first thing in the morning and try something out. So my first tip is around, it's still a good time right now, no matter where you are in Canada, to provide bird nesting material. All right. So you can grow trees, obviously. You might already notice what birds are using in your area. Like for those of you in Ontario, they like the fluffy material from milkweed that monarchs also like, but that makes really good bird nesting material, as well as catkins from willow trees and cottonwoods. Here is a hummingbird nest that I found. I think the eggs are like the size of a raisin. Usually this had blown out of a tree, as did this one here that I found on my property. We were very sad when we found this bush tit nest on the ground full of eggs that had blown out also in a windstorm. So you can see there's moss and lichens, and there's also the catkins from my weeping willow in here. So what you can do, if you're already, have a bird bath, or you're feeding birds in the winter, maybe you have a bee house that I'm also going to speak about after, is you can do something to kind of cultivate that backyard relationship with those birds. So you can reuse something like an onion bag or avocado bag that you have, these plastic mesh bags, and you can buy bird nesting material, okay, at a wild bird general store or naturalist shop like that. And often they'll have hemp threads and sometimes wool and cotton. And I've imported some horsehair from Alberta from my mom's horse to put in here. You can use dog fur as well, as long as it's not treated with flea treatments. That would be okay to put out. You might already find that they're cleaning out your dog brushes if you leave it outside. So you can hang this in a tree where you've seen bird activity, and the hummingbirds in my neighborhood have particularly liked the really soft, fluffy cotton in here. If you want to do something even a little cuter, you could repurpose like an old whisk and stuff the material in here and hang that from trees in your backyard or in your front yard to provide some bird nesting material. The things you don't want to include in there would be dryer lint, because most of our dryer lint is sort of a toxic soup of plastic microfibers and probably scented chemicals. And human hair actually is a bit too fine. These get wrapped, they could get wrapped around and actually do some damage on birds' legs or things like that. So it's a little bit too sharp compared to the dog fur or the horsehair, which is a bit thicker. The second tip I was going to let you know, I was happy to tune into the poem and a bit about gardening. And my pitch is to, and I've got a blog post about this with a few ideas of how to get your lawn off grass. And one of the ways I recommend is cardboard sheet mulch. So do not waste your time digging up old lawn. All you have to do is take, ideally uninked cardboard on recycling day, be that person that goes around in your vehicle collecting cardboard, or ask your neighbors to drop it off at your house. And basically you're going to put like 3 layers of just plain brown cardboard. So again, you're not recycling, you're not letting anything leave your property, and you're going to turn this into food that you eat. You mulch it over your lawn, and then you add like free wood chips that you might get from an arborist if you've had any tree work done. Like when I hear chainsaws going in my neighborhood, or I see a tree truck drive by, I make a run for it and I ask them to dump the wood chips on my property. They're really great for the trails between your raised beds, and also can just be a way to start building up that organic matter. In that blog post around getting your yard off grass, I also explain how to do oogle culture, which is basically creating hill mounds. And again, it's about keeping dead woody materials, soils, your grass clippings, straw, and you basically build a mound and add soil, let it decompose, and you plant right into it. And all that dead, it's just like what you're replicating what happens in nature, right? When you see a nurse log out in the forest and you see little seedlings growing in it, that's what you're doing. You're going to have that moisture and all that nutrients in those dead logs. And you can kind of do that with twigs and sticks and things that you already have in your backyard. And I've got tips in there about how to grow a food forest. So I've started mine about 3 years ago. I've got here, I'm putting in tomorrow an evergreen huckleberry, but I've got goji berries, Chilean guava, apple trees, thimbleberry, salmonberry, lots of native shrubs and plants that are great for pollinators, but also edible native plants in my food garden. And you can start doing that again with just the cardboard mulch tips. The other tip I would say to save yourself some money and time is don't bother grinding out any stumps in your lawn. If you can incorporate them already into so leave stumps really high for species like woodpeckers and those that need to eat all the ants and all the good decaying creatures out of there. Or if you have a low stump that's already been cut, I inherited a few in the property that I bought here in Victoria. And when my husband wanted to spend $200 to grind them out, I suggested we plant around them. So now I have this nice dead decaying where the salamanders have been found and where most of the wildlife have been found in my backyard. And I just plant around it, and it's now just sort of shredding and turning into soil. So don't waste your time or money digging out any stumps. They're really good. Often biologists call them hot spots even. Bee homes. So I noticed last year in particular, I've had a mason bee home for about 12 years. And I noticed last year there was a lot of big box stores and home and garden stores that had native bee houses. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them, as Colin Purrington would say, they're death traps. They're probably doing more harm to bees than you anticipated. And so I've got, again, an entire blog post up there at queenofgreen.ca about how to know if you chose the right native bee house. So this will house mason bees as well as leafcutter bees. Some of the tips to look for, I'll just give you a little teaser, is you definitely want an overhang on your house, so it needs to stay dry. You want removable tubes, so these should come out because in the fall, you're going to practice your animal husbandry skills and actually clean out the cocoons, the mason bee cocoons, to increase their success rate and lower their mortality so that they don't get eaten up by parasitic wasps or they don't die from larval beetles that would be in there as well. So if you're attracting them, it's sort of like cleaning your bird feeder or cleaning your bird bath. You're going to have to do a little work. They probably already live in your garden shed and in the siding of your house and all kinds of little nooks and crannies already in the bark around your trees. But I've got some tips around, these need to be 15 centimeters long, these tubes, if they were too short. Basically what happens is the females, they end up being females at the back and males' eggs are laid at the front. And so if you have too short of a tube, you're going to have a skewed and not very helpful sex ratio out in the world. Another good tip is if it has a picture of a honeybee on it, it's not a native bee house because these are not for honeybees. I also share some tips on if you've got kids in your family and you're looking for some DIY. And again, I don't like to recycle things. I like to repurpose things. Just craft paper, brown craft paper. You can make tubes for your own house and you use an HB pencil. Wrap it around an HB pencil and you've made yourself a mason bee tube. You can buy them as well if you wanted, but that makes it easy to unravel and you can kind of make them thick enough so that parasitic wasps can't drill into there. And again, just repurpose an old pop bottle or an old piece of plastic that would be waterproof and be able to mount on the southeast side of your home. You can also make a bumblebee house. Has anyone ever tried that? There's some hacks out there about using teapot that you would bury into the soil. So 70% of our native bumblebees nest at or below ground. So they often use old mouse holes. If you've never cleaned out your birdhouse, I've got bumblebees nesting in a failed wren nest. The wrens were building a nest in a felted wool hanging. I would bring it in, but they're in there right now to show you. And the bumblebees took it over right away after the wren nest failed because raccoons, I think, got in there. But you can make a bumblebee nest with also these plant pots, which often you can't recycle. You want the holes at the top here, so not right on the bottom of the pot, but on the side. And what you're going to do is put that bird nesting material or other things like that, like dried grass and moss, put that inside, fill it about 3/4 full. Place it down at ground level where you have some good pollinator plants or you've seen bee activity. You can place a plate on top or something heavy, a stone or something just to hold it down and see if you can get bumblebees to come and live in here. They'll live in small sort of colonies. They're mostly solitary, but they'll live together. And even some of them make, a drop of honey, but that's not really why we have them. We have them because they're great pollinators for things like blueberries and raspberries and other things in your garden. That's what I wanted to say about bee houses. And yeah, but go have a look at your old bee houses or your bird houses and see if you notice bumblebees coming back and forth from there. You just might have some already. One of the things I wanted to share, especially if you're food foresting or you're out in nature a lot, is to look at, I know a lot of people are out foraging for maybe mushrooms right now, or looking at the berry season, wild berry season, is to sort of, I've got again a few 10-ish, 11 tips on how to forage. And one of the ones at the end of my list is about considering reciprocity with nature. So really looking at consent-based harvesting practices, and check your relationship with the earth, and maybe pay a gratitude before you pick that rose hip or before you pluck that berry from the wild bush. Check your intentions. Come with good feelings is how I've had it explained from an elder. And speak out loud to the plant and actually pay some gratitude before you harvest the stinging nettle or whatever it might be. And my last and final tip would be around exploring wildlife signs. So, I mean, you can get books on this about learning how to identify scat, which is basically poop, scratches on tree marks, and as well as noticing, whitewash from different birds. You're often underneath a nest. So the last tip I'll leave you with is a favorite one when I worked in the boreal forest for quite a few summers, was trying to find the difference between an elk and a moose and a deer poop. So this is going to stay with you. I sort of apologize in advance, but you'll remember this one. So moose poop looks like chocolate almonds. And I wish I had a demo and I wish I had chocolate almonds, but I don't have to show you tonight. So moose poop looks like chocolate almonds. Elk poop looks like Hershey Kisses. And deer poop looks a lot like chocolate covered Raisinets. And that's a really great way. It's really fun for kids to try to figure some of those things out, especially when and if you get to some of your provincial and national parks. And so, yeah, I apologize for now that visual that's hopefully stuck in your head, but maybe it'll pique your curiosity for more nature finding and more animal sign exploring. So have a great summer. Congratulations, EnviroCentre, for launching this online virtual event. And if I was to share a vision, it would be, exploring, changing the way we look at often how we message on how we're doing things for future generations. And something I heard recently was about a lot of the actions and the heart-centered work and the dreaming and scheming we do is really to make sure there are future generations. Thank you for having me.
I guess it's me right now. All right. How's it going, everybody? I present myself. My name is Arnaldo. You can call me Effect. That's my dancer name. And I'm a co-founder and co-owner of Move Ottawa. So just a little bit about what we do. We're all about the dancing. So if you guys like to dance, if you guys like to move, this is the time for you guys to get up off your couch and seats and all that stuff. And we're gonna do some dancing. What I'm gonna be teaching today is gonna be some breaking, also known as breakdancing. I'm gonna apologize for the light up there. It's really bright, so I apologize for that. And we're gonna be learning some breaking. Very simple steps. We're gonna be doing more of a top rock, so everything that has to do on top, not necessarily on the bottom, because we don't have that much space in our houses. So, I'm gonna keep it simple and nice, and we can start. We're gonna start with a little bit of a warm up. So just follow along for now. And yeah, here we go. Just gonna put some music. Here we go. We're gonna go a little bit of a groove.
Interesting sources for this song. It's a really popular song. And I've set the file that there was
Simple two-step.
There was no second information for a backing band material because the backing band hadn't actually recorded the track.
We're gonna keep it out. It's a simple two-step. We're gonna bring it.
Tracks were created by cutting and pasting a second from the film mix.
We're gonna bounce what you need. With your hands, you gotta do whatever you wanna do.
Most of us do way down, hand clap, zero overdubs, most tracks, saxophone, treble horn, synchronized melody.
Here we go. Yes. Don't forget the knees. We're gonna double it.
That they literally pulled school cut and paste and made a long search jam out of it.
We gotta go back to the two-step.
Interestingly, keyboards and tools are a really popular source for breakbeat cycles. So it's a loop that has been sampled into a loop.
We're gonna go. Snap, snap, snap.
This is what the loop sounds like.
Here we go. Simple step. Gonna take it to the back. Back, 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 back. Yeah. So I think we're gonna be ready to do the actual top rock. I'll be showing you a couple moves, and we're gonna be going from there. Bear with me. I'm not super used to doing this on the online and stuff. So yeah, let's do it. So simple. At the beginning, we're gonna do a couple counts of 8. So when I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7, 8, at 1, that's when we actually start. And from there, we're gonna do the first count of 8. It's just a simple groove. So like we did at the beginning, you can do a two-step, just a simple groove. So when I say 5, 6, 7, 8, you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very simple. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With this one, you can move around. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is just to keep the groove. I'm gonna be playing different type of music, so we're gonna be doing this little choreo to a different kind of music. So second count of 8. After this, after the groove, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna go step right out, step left out, step right, step left. Another count of 8. So again, very simple. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's gonna happen with this one is that you're gonna go kick. Once you're gonna lift your leg, you're gonna kick it to the side, and your chest is gonna be pointed where you're kicking. Same on the other side, you're gonna be lifting up, kick, put it down, up, twist, down, up, twist, down, up, twist, down. What you're gonna do with your hands, you don't have to do it, but it's gonna help if you, it kind of like is as if you're gonna grab a closet door and you wanna open it. So you're gonna be open, 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 open. So one more time from the top. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So once you're done with this one, from here, what we're gonna do, you finish at 8 with your left leg, you're gonna jump and bring your legs together on the 1. So 1. Again, so once you finish here, you're gonna jump and bring your leg, all your legs on the 1. 1. From here, you're gonna be, your hands are gonna be crossed just like this, like that, or like this. It doesn't really matter. Just hands together. And we're gonna do the step that we did at the beginning. Very simple. So you're gonna do a cross leg. 2. Come back. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. So one more time. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. Last time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From here, once you finish here, actually, before we keep going, I'm going to do a little bit quicker from the top. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. So that's a little bit quicker. So from here, once you finish here, 8, you're gonna spin 1, a whole spin. So 8, 1. There you go. And from here, you're gonna give me at every at 2, 4, 6, and 8, you're gonna give me a pose. So simple pose, B-boy, bigger pose. You can give me this. Hands open, holding your chin, hands on the hips, or you can even give me a knee stand. It's up to you to choose from those. I'm gonna be varying, so now it's up to you to freestyle with that specific one. So here we go. So we finish here. 8, spin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, the 2, that's true. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From here, one more time. Here we go. 8, spin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From here, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna jump again. You're gonna put your right leg out. Bring it back, left leg out. Bring it back, right leg out. Bring it back, left leg out. So another count of 8 like that. So slowly from the top. Don't get too lost right now. So here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry, there's someone here. Sorry. So here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And right leg, 8. So jump, side, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And from here, slowly, you're gonna drag your right leg or left leg, sorry. Drag, put it behind the other leg, spin as much as you can, and just freestyle. So, one more time, from the top slowly. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Spin. Spin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From here, you're gonna go jump, side, 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 spin, back, big spin, and pose. So, we're gonna do that a couple times to different type of music. So, here we go. And this time is gonna be a little bit quicker. So, let's see. Yeah. This one is a little bit slower, so I'm gonna pump it up, all right? It's a lot more groovy. Here we go. 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. Here we go. One more time. One more time. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Again. 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Forgot a little part there in the middle, and don't worry, we're gonna do it in something a little bit more quick. I hope you guys are up to the challenge. Here we go. 2 more times, and we're done. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Here we go. This one is a little bit quicker. Here we go. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 8. Here we go. One more time. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, Yeesh. That was pretty cool. So I want to thank the basketball for this amazing event and all this. Sorry, I'm a little winded. We're gonna do 2 more times with another beat, and then I'm gonna say bye to you guys. Don't forget, this is Move Ottawa. These are shirts. So Move Ottawa, MOOV Ottawa. My name is Effect, co-founder of Move Ottawa, and thanks a lot for joining in and participating to this incredible event. Here we go. We're gonna do it 2 more times, and we're gonna call it quits. This one is a little bit more groovy, so have fun with it. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we go. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you have it, folks. That was me. I let myself carry away a little bit at the end, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks a lot. And have a good night and a good summer. Yeah. Let's keep the positivity. Make sure to wash your hands, wash your social distancing. And yeah, peace.
Thank you. That was amazing, and congratulations, all you dancers. I couldn't see very many dancers. I have to admit, I was dancing, but I know what my hip hop dancing looks like, and it's awful. So I thought I would save everybody that, but that was really, really fun. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming and supporting EnviroCentre. We hope you have enjoyed our eclectic evening of low carbon fun. We certainly have. We are about to wind up with a high energy and yet low carbon dance party with JFun. But before we do, I want to thank all of our speakers and performers for coming out, or actually staying in tonight, and making this event so diverse and interesting. It's been a real pleasure to have you all here. It's inspiring and motivating to see all the different ways folks across the country are engaging with climate and really taking action in their own lives. So you've seen little snippets of the kind of work that we do at EnviroCentre throughout this evening. And let me tell you, there is more. EnviroCentre runs more than 14 different programs and initiatives, and we are in the process of building new projects. We are about to launch a new green lifestyle education site, mygreenlifestyle.ca, that will feature daily green tips and fun online courses in some of the key topic areas that we find folks ask us about when we're out in the community. And if you want to keep up to speed on that and some of our other green lifestyle activities, I'd encourage you all to sign up for our weekly digest, The Green Beat, or tune in Wednesday mornings for our weekly live chat with local climate actors in the Green Room. We'll send you, in fact, I think Vita is already sending you links to all of this stuff in follow-up to this event, as well as a link on how you can donate if you want to further support our work. So please sign up and pass the word along. If there is one thing that we have learned in recent years about climate action, or really any action at all, it's that it spreads between peers. We can do all the outreach and social media promotion in the world, but nothing will compare to what happens when you pass the word along to a friend, share a tip, or pass along something that you did to inspire others. But for now, there is only one thing left to do this evening, and that is dance. Now, this one's going to be easy. You can dance any way you want. So I encourage you, if you are so inclined, to switch on your cameras and have a little bit of social time. Merci de vous joindre à nous ce soir. Ensemble, nous démontrons encore une fois que nous pouvons célébrer un mode de vie durable in style. So thank you for coming on this hot, depending where you are, and physically distanced evening. We hope you had a wonderful night, and let's do some dancing for climate. Thank you.
African thriller, nothing so new line. African thriller, not just no new line. African thriller, nothing so new line. African thriller, not just no new line. African thriller, nothing so new line. African thriller, not just no new line. African thriller, nothing so 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 new line. Musical campaign, we go hit you without pain. Some of you go to complain, but then there's all keep on moving. Now you know I got the move, supply you with the groove. Now you know I got the move, supply you with the groove. Now you know I got While your feet are stumping and the jam is pumping, look ahead, the crowd are jumping. up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. Oh, a place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. Oh, a place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. 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 Yo, bump up the jam, bump it up, I bump it up. Yo, bump up the jam, bump it up, I bump it up. Yo, bump up the jam, bump it up, I bump it up. Yo, bump up the jam, bump it, yeah. Bump up the jam, I bump up the jam, bump up the jam, bump it up, I bump it, bump up the jam, bump up the jam, bump up the jam, bump it, bump. Bump up the jam, bump it up, while your feet are stumping, and the jam is bumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Bump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. Cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. Oh, a place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. Oh, a place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. If we took a holiday, took some time to celebrate, just one day out of life, it would be so nice. We thought about the world, we're gonna have a celebration all across the world, in every nation. It's time for the good times. Forget about the bad times. Oh yeah, one day to come together to release the pressure. We need a holiday. If we took a holiday, time to celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate one day out of life. It would be so nice if we took a holiday. Oh yeah, take some time to celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate one day out of life. Just one day out of life. It would be so nice. You can turn this world around and bring back all of those happy days. Put your trouble down. Sometimes celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate. One day out of life, just one day out of life would be, it would be so nice. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come on, let's celebrate. We have got to get together. We're gonna have a celebration all across the world, in every nation. If we took the holiday, come on, take some time to celebrate. Celebrate one day out of life, just one day out of life. It would be so nice if we took the holiday. Oh yeah, take some time to celebrate. Oh, let's celebrate one day out of life. Holiday would be, it would be so nice. Holiday, oh yeah, celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate holiday. Just one day out of life. It would be so nice. Holiday, celebration. Come together, in every nation. Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
Knock a little louder, baby.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
I can't hear you.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
Knock a little louder, sugar.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
I can't hear you.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby. Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby. Bang, bang
On the door, baby. On the door.
bang, bang.
On the door, baby. You're what?
Rusty. Love shack, baby, love shack. Love shack, baby, love shack.
Yeah.
Love shack, baby, love shack. Love shack, baby, love shack.